Welcome to AnimeFan Narrations, your go-to channel for captivating fan translations of your favorite light novels. Today, we're excited to bring you the very first episode of Solo Leveling. If you enjoy our content, please support us by hitting the subscribe button and liking the video. Your support means a lot and helps us bring more amazing stories to life. Let's dive into the world of Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling Episode 1, Chapter 53, Part 1. The three mages who controlled the Iron Golem had also risen under his command.
27 infantry and 3 mages.
Deciding to keep the few mages, Jinwoo selected the nearest infantry.
I'm sorry. Extraction cancel.
The soldier turned to smoke and disappeared into nothingness. Not a trace remained. Jinwoo paused to pay his respects, then turned his attention to Ygritte. He was prepared. He had given up a valuable soldier to make room for Ygritte, so this had to be worth it. Now was the time to act. Jinwoo activated the skill.
Arise!
Unlike his previous attempt, the shadow beneath Ygritte began to tremble and stir as if it were alive. It was the same phenomenon he had seen when extracting other soldiers.
It's working.
Jinwoo clenched his fist. He had a good feeling about this.
Shadow extraction has been attempted. Extracting.
What would Ygritte look like when he came back? Sweat formed on Jinwoo's palms. But then, with the sound of breaking metal, a message appeared.
Shadow extraction failed.
What?
2 attempts remaining.
Phew!
He sighed in relief, knowing he still had another chance.
Now that I think about it.
The skill's description had mentioned that success depended on the target's abilities. Seeing this in action was surprising. His first extraction failure felt like a slap in the face. Moreover, there was a limit on the number of attempts.
2 attempts remaining.
If he failed those 2 attempts, would Ygritte's shadow vanish into the void like the sacrificed soldier? Jinwoo shuddered at the thought. He shook his head.
Let's not be pessimistic.
Stay positive. If he believed, perhaps the universe would lend a hand. Feeling a mix of dread and hope, Jinwoo tried the second attempt.
Arise!
His expectations were misplaced.
Shadow extraction failed. 1 attempt remaining.
Ygritte had been a thorn in his side while alive, and he was just as troublesome in death. He thought of the worst-case scenario again. After the second failure, things looked grim.
Whew.
Jinwoo took a deep breath. He had only 1 chance left, the final attempt. Jinwoo closed his eyes and gathered his thoughts.
It might just be based on probability, but...
He wondered if his desire for Ygritte's shadow wasn't strong enough. Jinwoo slowly opened his eyes. The black smoke coming from Ygritte seemed to reach out to him, asking for rescue. Jinwoo's eyes sharpened. As if to grasp the hand for rescue, he extended his right hand.
Arise!
Something happened that Jinwoo didn't intend, nor did he realize it had happened. But in that moment, his word resonated with power, and in response to his command, a deep scream echoed from somewhere, followed by a chilling wind.
What's this?
Jinwoo's face brightened. He recognized this phenomenon. It was the same as when the soldiers had risen earlier. As expected, when the scream subsided, a hand emerged from Ygritte's shadow. The moment the hand touched the ground, a message appeared.
You've succeeded in shadow extraction.
Jinwoo shouted in triumph.
Yes.
He pumped his fists in the air. Having failed twice made the victory even sweeter. The good news continued.
The monarch's voice has awakened the fighting spirit of the fallen one. You've succeeded in shadow strengthening. The shadow's level will start at 7.
Shadow strengthening?
Did this mean they could start at levels higher than 1? Jinwoo's eyes widened in surprise. Just as the message indicated, the pitch-black knight that emerged was at level 7.
Nice.
Jinwoo let out a light cheer. Ygritte's appearance was exactly as he remembered. The helmet adorned with feathers, the agile body clad in armor from head to toe. It even had the elegant cape it had discarded before the fight. The only difference was its color, completely pitch black instead of blood red. Other than that, it was the same boss he had defeated earlier. It was almost like Ygritte had been resurrected. However, unlike before, the revived Ygritte exuded no hostility. It stood at attention, awaiting orders. Watching Ygritte, Jinwoo's heart raced. A smile spread across his face, but a question arose in his mind. Jinwoo glanced above the knight's head.
Why doesn't he have a name?
Question mark, question mark, question mark. Level 7, knight grade.
Curiously, question marks appeared where the name should be.
The grade is different too.
He had expected it to be stronger due to the level, but there were other differences between Ygritte and the other soldiers. As if sensing his thoughts,
You may assign a name to soldiers at or above the knight grade. The given name will be maintained until the soldier is released. Please choose a name for the soldier.
A name?
he hesitated at first, but then remembered that this soldier already had a name. It wouldn't be a problem to call him by that name.
Please choose a name for the soldier.
The message blinked rapidly, urging him to hurry. Jinwoo spoke.
Blood Red Ygritte?
Wait, if he gave it a name, he would have to use it all the time. That meant if he used the name he was thinking of, he would always have to start with blood red something. He cringed at how lame that sounded.
Too lame.
So Jinwoo decided to shorten the name.
Ygritte.
Would you like to pick Ygritte?
Yes.
As soon as he confirmed, the question marks in the knight's name were replaced with Ygritte.
Ygritte, level 7, Knight grade.
Even though it was originally the knight's name, seeing it officially displayed in the information box gave Jinwoo a sense of accomplishment. It was as if the reality that the boss was now his soldier had firmly taken hold.
My soldier.
Jinwoo turned to face the other shadow soldiers. The 29 shadows stood ready for his orders. At this moment, his army was small.
Just 30 soldiers.
It might be due to the low level of his shadow extraction skill, or perhaps his intelligence stat wasn't high enough. Regardless, Jinwoo was confident that his army's numbers would grow over time.
I've truly acquired an army.
And thankfully, it was an army of shadows, not of bones and corpses, contrary to his earlier fears. Only one issue remained. How was he supposed to move around with these soldiers? The thought of walking down the street with pitch-black humanoids trailing him was troubling.
Whether they're skeletons or shadows?
He would undoubtedly draw attention with these figures surrounding him. Not just attention. This ability was beyond reawakening. If he came under special scrutiny, people might even demand he dismiss the summoning.
Hunter Association HSD Chief Woo Jinchul.
He envisioned those military-like officials closing in on him and felt the headache that would follow. Fortunately, he had another skill.
Skill.
Jinwoo accessed his skill screen.
Class-specific skills. Active skills. Shadow extraction. Level 1. Shadow storage. Level 1.
There was one skill he hadn't examined yet. Shadow storage. It seemed designed for situations like this.
Shadow storage. Level 1. Class-specific skill. Mana cost, 0. Absorb the shadow soldiers into the user's shadow for storage. The stored soldiers can be freely summoned and reabsorbed by the user. Stored shadows, 0 of 20.
Just as I suspected.
Jinwoo nodded in understanding. Before reading the description, he had guessed that storage implied a way to manage the soldiers. However, there was an unexpected limitation.
The capacity is...
The storage capacity was smaller than the summoning limit. While he could create 30 soldiers, he could only store 20. This meant he would have to dismiss 10 more.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It felt like losing a part of himself. Dismissing even one soldier was hard, and now he had to let go of 10. With a heavy heart, Jinwoo surveyed his army. Of course, Ygritte and the mages were not up for consideration. That left the infantry. He decided to pick the 10 soldiers furthest from him this time.
I'm sorry.
Jinwoo briefly prayed for their souls. The selected soldiers turned to dust and scattered. Compared to the first time, he felt less regret. They say people can get used to anything. Anyways, Jinwoo looked at the remaining soldiers and activated shadow storage. Upon using the skill, Ygritte and the shadow soldiers melted like ice into flat shadows. Then, their shadows flowed towards Jinwoo and merged with his own shadow.
So this is what it means to absorb them.
It was exactly as the skill described. His army was absorbed into his shadow. It all happened in the blink of an eye. The shadow army was gone.
Even after witnessing it,
Jinwoo stared at his shadow in amazement. At that moment, the system rang.
You've tried out all the class-specific skills. The class advancement is now complete. The exit will now be created.
is it finally over?
It had been a long and tough journey. Jinwoo took one last look around the dungeon. Traces of the battle were everywhere. Broken knights, cracked walls, the destroyed pillar, and the iron golem, which was now a pile of shattered armor. But his trials had brought many rewards. A new class and skills, a powerful army. A smile spread across Jinwoo's face. He turned away without a second thought. The gate to the real world awaited him. Jinwoo stepped through. He found himself back in the clearing in the forest. It was the same place he had entered the quest's dungeon.
Thanks for watching Solo Leveling on AnimeFan Narrations. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.